My wife smiled and gave me headache pills every morning, though I never had headaches, until the lab report exposed her dark plot. My wife handed me pills at breakfast. Doctor said these will help your headaches, she smiled. I'd never mentioned headaches. I pretended to swallow them and had them tested. They came back as poison. That's when I handed the report to my divorce lawyer. The lab report landed on my kitchen counter at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. I stared at the words until they blurred. Thallium acetate, lethal dose 10 to 15 mg per kilogram body weight. Symptoms mimic natural illness. Causes organ failure, neurological damage, death within 2 to 4 weeks of sustained exposure. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. The pills sat in a Ziploc bag beside the report. 17 of them, small, white, innocent looking. My wife had been giving them to me every morning for 17 days. Doctor said, these will help your headaches, she'd said, smiling that warm smile I'd fallen in love with 3 years ago. I'd never mentioned headaches. Claire and I had been married for 3 years and 2 months. We met at a hospital fundraiser. She was a cardiac nurse at St. Augustine Medical Center. Smart, compassionate, beautiful, dark hair, green eyes, the kind of smile that made you feel like you were the only person in the room. I was a software engineer. I'd built a startup that got acquired by Google 2 years before we met. The payout was substantial. Not billionaire money, but enough that I'd never have to work again if I was smart about it. Claire said she didn't care about the money. I fell in love with you, not your bank account, she'd said on our second date. I believed her. We bought a house in Pacific Heights, Victorian, 4 bedrooms, view of the bay. Life was perfect. Then small things started changing. In February, Claire suggested I update my life insurance. We're married now, she said over dinner at Gary Danko, her favorite restaurant. We should protect each other. What if something happens to you? It made sense. We updated the policy to $2 million. I signed the paperwork without thinking twice. In March, she asked me to add her name to my investment accounts. Just in case, she said while we were watching Netflix on the couch. If something happens, I shouldn't have to fight with probate courts. My friend Susan went through that when her husband died. Took 18 months, that made sense, too. I added her as a beneficiary to my Schwab accounts. $4.7 million in index funds and bonds. In April, she started asking about my will. Have you thought about what you want? Who gets what? We should talk to an estate attorney. It's responsible. I told myself it was adult, mature, smart planning, but something in my gut twisted. It started on a Monday morning in May. I was making coffee when Claire walked into the kitchen. She was wearing her scrubs, blue, with her hospital ID badge clipped to the pocket. Her shift started at 7 a.m. I talked to Dr. Morrison yesterday, she said casually, setting 2 white pills on the counter beside my coffee mug. About your headaches? I looked up from the French press. What headaches? You've been rubbing your temples a lot lately. Squinting at your laptop. I noticed. She smiled. That caring nurse smile. He prescribed these. Take them with food. They'll help. I picked up the pills, turned them over in my palm. I don't have headaches. Prevention, Claire said, kissing my forehead. Her lips were warm. Familiar. Better to treat them before they get bad. Doctor's orders. She handed me a glass of orange juice. I looked at the pills, at her, at the smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Something felt wrong, but I told myself I was being paranoid. Claire was a nurse. She cared about health. This was normal. I brought the pills to my mouth. Took a sip of juice, tucked the pills under my tongue. All gone. I smiled back. Claire watched me swallow. Actually watched my throat. Good. Take them every morning. Okay. Same time. Consistency matters with these medications. The moment she left for work, I spit the pills into a napkin. I stared at them for a long time. Small, white, unmarked, no imprint, no manufacturer logo. Prescription pills always have imprints. I put them in a Ziploc bag and hid them in my desk drawer. The next morning, Claire gave me 2 more pills. How are you feeling? She asked, already in her scrubs, coffee in hand. Fine. No headaches? No, good. The medication is working. She handed me the pills with my orange juice. Keep taking them. I pretended to swallow again. Made a show of drinking the whole glass. She smiled, kissed me, left for work. I added the pills to the Ziploc bag. That afternoon, I called my friend Marcus. We'd been roommates at Berkeley. He was a pharmacist now. 20 years at Kaiser Permanente, pharmacy supervisor for the last 8. I need a favor, I said. Can you test something for me? Quietly. What kind of something? Pills my wife gave me. She says they're for headaches I don't have. Marcus was quiet for 3 seconds. That's weird. I know. Bring them by tonight. After hours, use the employee entrance on the south side. Day 3, 2 more pills. Day 4, 2 more. Day 5. Claire started watching me more closely. You should sit down when you take those, she said on day 6. Sometimes they can make you dizzy. I feel fine, still better safe. Her eyes were sharp, calculating. Are you taking them at the same time every day? It matters. Yes. Good boy. She squeezed my shoulder, my skin crawled. On day 7, Claire asked, are you losing weight? I looked down at myself. Maybe a little. You should eat more. Her voice dripped with concern. I'm worried about you. You're looking thin. That night, she made my favorite dinner. Lasagna from scratch. Garlic bread, Caesar salad with anchovies. The way I liked it. Eat, she said, watching me across the table. You need your strength. I ate. But I couldn't shake the feeling that she was studying me, waiting for something. On day 9, I felt genuinely sick. Not from the pills, I hadn't taken any. Sick from the realization that something was deeply, fundamentally wrong with my marriage. Claire started asking about work. Are you stressed? You seem stressed. Maybe you should take a break. We could go to Cabo for a week. Just relax on the beach. I'm fine. You don't look fine. You look exhausted. Pale. I'm sleeping okay. Maybe we should see Dr. Morrison. Get a real checkup. Full blood panel. Make sure everything's working properly. My stomach dropped. Blood work. If I'd actually been taking the pills, what would blood work show? What would happen if she found out I wasn't taking them? On day 12, Claire bought me a pill organizer. One of those plastic boxes with compartments for each day of the week, morning and evening slots. This will help you remember, she said sweetly. I pre-filled it for you. See, Monday morning, Monday evening, Tuesday morning, each compartment had 2 white pills. You're so thoughtful, I said. That night, I dumped all the pills into the Ziploc bag, replaced them with Tic Tacs, close enough in size and color that she wouldn't notice unless she looked closely. On day 14, Claire's behavior changed. She became more affectionate, clingy. I love you so much, she said randomly while we were watching TV. I don't know what I'd do without you. I love you, too. Promise me you'll always take care of yourself. Take your medications. Stay healthy. I promise. She curled against me. We're going to have such a good life together. The words made my blood run cold. Marcus called me at 11:47 p.m. on day 17. I was in my office. Claire was asleep upstairs. David, these aren't headache pills. My chest tightened. What are they? Thallium acetate. The words didn't register at first. What's that? It's a poison. Marcus' voice was tight. Controlled. Professional. Used to be in rat poison until the FDA banned it in 1965. Highly toxic. Causes organ failure over weeks. Cumulative effect. The room tilted. If you'd been taking these daily at the dosage she gave you, 2 pills twice daily, you'd be dead in 3 to 4 weeks maximum. I couldn't breathe. The symptoms looked natural, Marcus continued. Fatigue, nausea, hair loss, confusion, kidney failure. Most doctors would think it was cancer or some kind of autoimmune disease. By the time they figured it out through toxicology screening, you'd be too far gone. Organ damage would be irreversible. Jesus Christ, David. Marcus' voice dropped. Your wife is trying to kill you. I called my attorney at 7:18 a.m. the next morning. Richard Chen. I'd used him for the startup acquisition and estate planning. Stanford Law. 26 years practicing corporate and estate law. I need a referral, I said. Criminal defense or family law. I don't know which. The best you know what's going on. My wife has been poisoning me. Silence. I'm not joking, I said. I have evidence, pills, lab reports, timeline. Jesus. Richard was quiet for a moment. Call Catherine Walsh. She handles high net worth divorce. But if this is criminal, you need police involved. Give me her number. I called Catherine Walsh at 8:03 a.m. Walsh Family Law. A receptionist answered. I need to speak with Catherine Walsh. Emergency. She's in a deposition until 11. Can I take a message? Tell her I have evidence my wife is trying to poison me for life insurance money and I need representation immediately. The receptionist put me on hold. 30 seconds later, a woman's voice came on. Sharp. All business. This is Catherine Walsh. Who am I speaking with? David Morgan. My wife has been giving me poison disguised as medication for 17 days. I have the pills. I have lab reports from a Kaiser pharmacist. I need a divorce attorney who can handle attempted murder evidence. Come to my office at noon, Catherine said without hesitation. Bring everything and don't tell your wife where you're going. Catherine Walsh's office was in the financial district, 30th floor, glass walls overlooking the bay. She was in her 50s, gray hair cut and a sharp bob, wearing a navy suit that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent. I showed her everything. The Ziploc bag with 17 pills, Marcus lab report from Kaiser Permanente, printed on official letterhead, signed and dated with his pharmacy credentials listed. The life insurance policy Claire had insisted I update, $2 million. She was the sole beneficiary. The bank statements showing I'd added her to my investment accounts in March. $4.7 million in liquid assets. The emails where she'd asked about updating my will. A timeline I'd written out. Every morning she'd given me pills. Every comment she'd made about my health. Catherine read everything twice. Made notes on a yellow legal pad. This isn't enough, she finally said. What? My voice came out too loud. She's been poisoning me for 17 days. The lab report proves. The lab report proves those pills contain thallium acetate. It doesn't prove your wife gave them to you or that she knew what they were or that she intended to kill you. That's insane. That's criminal defense strategy. Catherine leaned forward. Her lawyer will argue you obtained those pills yourself or that someone else gave them to you or that the lab made a mistake or that you're having a mental health crisis and fabricating evidence. I'm not. I know, but we need more. We need her on record. We need her showing intent. We need pattern of behavior. How do we get that? You keep playing along. You keep pretending to take the pills. You document everything, every pill she gives you, every comment she makes, and we install cameras. My hands clenched. You want me to let her keep trying to kill me? I want you to gather evidence that will hold up in court and put her in prison, Catherine said. Right now, you have suspicious circumstances. We need proof beyond reasonable doubt. I went home. Claire was in the kitchen making dinner. Chicken piccata. The smell of lemon and capers filled the house. How was your day? She asked, smiling. Good. Lunch with Richard about some investment stuff. Sounds productive. She handed me 2 pills with my pre-dinner water. Don't forget these. I pretended to swallow them, smiled. Never. That night, I ordered cameras online. Nest cams, but the kind with high resolution and night vision. The kind that upload to encrypted cloud storage in real time. They arrived 2 days later via Amazon Prime. I installed them while Claire was at work. Kitchen, bedroom, living room, home office, all angles, all connected to a cloud server with password-protected access. On day 23, I caught her. It was 6:47 a.m. I'd told Claire I was in the shower. I was actually in the bathroom watching the live feed from my phone. Kitchen camera, wide angle, high definition. Claire stood at the counter in her scrubs. She pulled out a mortar and pestle, the marble one we'd gotten as a wedding gift from her mother. She crushed pills, white powder. Then she opened my vitamin bottle, the daily multivitamin I took every morning for joint health. GNC brand men's formula. She dumped half the vitamins into the trash, replaced them with the crushed powder, shook the bottle to mix them, put it back on the shelf. Then she pulled out her phone and made a call, put it on speaker while she started the coffee maker. Hey, she said, it's me. The voice on the other end was male, younger. How's it going? He's getting weaker, another few weeks and it'll look natural. Maybe cancer. Maybe autoimmune. Whatever they think, it won't be poison. My blood stopped moving. Can't wait to spend his money. The man laughed. That house in Malibu you showed me is perfect. We'll be there soon, baby, Claire said. Her voice was warm, loving, the same voice she used with me when we were in bed. Once he's gone, we can finally be together. No more hiding. No more sneaking around. I love you, the man said. I love you, too, Derek. She hung up, hummed while she poured coffee. Put my poison vitamins back on the shelf exactly where they'd been. I had everything. Video footage of Claire crushing pills and tampering with my vitamins. Time-stamped. Date stamped. Crystal clear. Audio recording of her planning my death with her lover. Discussing the house in Malibu, talking about spending my money, 17 untaken pills with lab confirmation of thallium acetate from a licensed pharmacist at a major hospital system. Life insurance documents showing $2 million payout with Claire as sole beneficiary. Bank statements showing I'd added her to accounts with $4.7 million just 2 months ago. Timeline documenting every instance, motive, method, intent, conspiracy. I called Catherine Walsh at 8:15 a.m. from my car in the grocery store parking lot. Claire thought I was buying milk. I have everything, I said. Video of her crushing pills and mixing them into my vitamins. Audio of her planning my death with her boyfriend. His name is Derek Sullivan. I looked him up. He teaches yoga at Claire's gym. They've been having an affair for at least 8 months based on her credit card statements. Send me the files. All of them. Encrypted email. Done. Catherine was quiet for a moment. David, there's something else you should consider. What? Claire's hosting a charity gala tonight at the Fairmont Hotel, fundraiser for St. Augustine's cardiac wing expansion. 200 guests, physicians, donors, hospital board members. The mayor's supposed to speak. My chest tightened. So we can have her arrested there in front of everyone. In front of her colleagues, her boss, her friends, the people she respects. Why would we do that? Because right now she thinks she's winning. She thinks you're dying and no one suspects anything. She thinks she's going to collect $2 million and live in Malibu with her boyfriend while everyone mourns the tragic loss of her husband. Catherine's voice went cold. I want her to know she lost publicly, irreversibly, in front of every person whose opinion matters to her. I want her humiliation to be complete. I thought about it, about Claire's smile every morning when she handed me pills. About the mortar and pestle crushing poison. About Derek's laugh. Can't wait to spend his money. About the house in Malibu they'd planned to buy after I was dead. Set it up, I said. The Fairmont Grand Ballroom was stunning. Crystal chandeliers hanging from a ceiling 3 stories high. String quartet playing Vivaldi near the entrance. Ice sculptures shaped like hearts, appropriate for a cardiac wing fundraiser. White tablecloths, centerpieces of white roses and purple orchids. 200 people in evening wear. Cardiologists, surgeons, hospital administrators, board members, philanthropists who donated 6 and 7 figures to St. Augustine Medical Center over the years, and Claire. She wore a floor-length emerald gown that I'd never seen before, probably cost $3,000. Hair professionally styled in an updo, diamond earrings, the ones I'd bought her for our 3rd anniversary. She looked radiant. She was talking to Dr. Richard Patterson, her boss, chief of cardiology, tall man, late 50s, silver hair, wearing a tuxedo. They were laughing about something. She looked happy, confident, successful, like a woman whose life was going exactly according to plan. I walked through the entrance at 7:34 p.m. I wore a suit, dark blue Tom Ford, but I'd made sure to look sick. No sleep for 2 days, skipped meals, didn't shave. I wanted everyone to see what she'd done. Detective Sarah Martinez and Detective James Chen followed 10 feet behind me, plainclothes. Martinez was late 30s, Latina, sharp eyes. Chen was mid-40s, Asian, built like someone who worked out every day. Catherine had coordinated with them directly. Attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, wire fraud. Claire had transferred $50,000 from my Schwab account to a joint account 3 days ago without telling me. Federal and state charges. Claire saw me from across the room. Her smile faltered just for a second, then it snapped back into place. Professional, warm, I walked toward her through the crowd. The room seemed to part around me. People noticed something was wrong. I could see it in their faces. Dr. Patterson saw me first. David, good to see you. Claire said you weren't feeling well. I wasn't, I said. My voice sounded hollow. But I'm feeling much better now. Claire's hand found my arm. Her grip was tight, possessive. David, I didn't know you were coming. You should be resting. I wanted to surprise you. Her nursing colleagues gathered around. Susan Kim, another cardiac nurse, Korean, early 40s. Robert Foster, surgical resident, young, eager. Helen Park, head of hospital fundraising. The woman who'd organized tonight's event. All smiling, all dressed up, all oblivious. Claire's told us so much about you, Helen said warmly. You must be so proud of her work. She's raised over $300,000 for the cardiac wing expansion this year alone. Oh, I'm very proud, I said, looking directly at Claire. My wife is incredibly dedicated, very patient, very methodical in everything she does. Claire's smile tightened, her nails dug into my arm through my suit jacket. In fact, I continued, voice rising slightly so people nearby could hear, she's been taking very good care of me. Special medication every morning for 23 days. Conversations around us started to quiet. People were listening now. David, Claire's voice dropped to a whisper. Not here. Tell them what the medication was for, Claire. My head aches. Her face went pale. Actually pale. Foundation couldn't hide it. Dr. Patterson frowned. Is everything all right? The medication was thallium acetate, I said clearly, loudly. A poison banned by the FDA in 1965 for use in rat poison. Causes progressive organ failure over weeks, mimics natural illness. Fatal within 3 to 4 weeks of sustained daily exposure. The string quartet was still playing, But everything else had gone silent. Everyone staring. My wife has been poisoning me, I said, for the $2 million life insurance policy she convinced me to take out in February and the $4.7 million in investment accounts she had me add her to in March and the house in Malibu she planned to buy with her yoga instructor Derek Sullivan after I was dead. Claire stumbled backward. Helen caught her elbow. That's insane. Claire's voice came out too high. You're having a breakdown. The stress. You need help. I have 23 pills, I said. Lab reports from Marcus Chen, pharmacy supervisor at Kaiser Permanente, confirming they contain thallium acetate. Video footage from this morning showing you crushing pills and mixing them into my vitamins. Audio recordings of you on the phone with Derek planning my death and discussing how you'll spend my money. Claire's hand flew to her mouth. Dr. Patterson looked horrified. Claire, what is he talking about? Nothing. He's lying. I'm a nurse. I save lives. I would never. You tried to take mine, I said. Detective Martinez and Detective Chen moved through the crowd. Badges out. People gasped, stepped back. Phones started coming out. Claire Morgan, Martinez said, her voice carrying authority. You're under arrest for attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and wire fraud. The ballroom erupted, gasps, shouts, cameras flashing. Claire's knees buckled. Susan and Helen caught her, kept her upright. This is a mistake. Claire's voice rose to a shriek. He's lying. David, please tell them. Please. Chen pulled out handcuffs. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. I didn't do anything. Claire fought as they cuffed her wrists behind her back. Mascara running, hair coming loose from its pins, the emerald gown twisting. I'm innocent. Someone's framing me, David. They walked her toward the exit, past her colleagues who'd worked with her for 6 years, past the donors who'd praised her fundraising. Past Dr. Patterson, who stood frozen, his face white as paper. Past the mayor who'd just arrived, staring with his mouth open. Past the hospital board members who'd given her awards. Everyone watched, everyone filmed on their phones. Local news cameras that had been covering the charity gala swiveled to follow. I followed them to the marble lobby. Claire was still screaming, you can't do this to me. I'm a nurse. I help people. David, I love you. Please. Martinez read her Miranda rights again while Chen called for a patrol car. Claire looked at me, mascara streaking her face, hair a mess. The beautiful composed nurse completely gone. You're destroying my life, she said. I pulled out my phone, played the audio recording I'd captured this morning. Claire's voice echoed through the marble lobby. He's getting weaker. Another few weeks and it'll look natural. Once he's gone, we can finally be together. No more hiding. Derek's voice. Can't wait to spend his money. That house in Malibu is perfect. Claire's face crumbled. She stopped fighting. Just stood there, shoulders sagging, staring at nothing. Actually, Claire, I said quietly. You tried to destroy mine. I'm just returning the favor. The patrol car pulled up outside, lights flashing. They walked her out through the main entrance, past the valet stand, past the photographers, past the line of people waiting to enter the gala. She pressed her face against the window of the patrol car, still crying. The car pulled away. Behind me, the ballroom had emptied into the lobby. 200 people watching, filming, whispering. Dr. Patterson approached me. David, I don't know what to say. There's nothing to say. My voice was flat, empty. Your nurse tried to murder her husband for money. He nodded slowly, walked away. Helen Park was crying. Susan Kim stood frozen, staring at where Claire had been. The cameras kept flashing. My phone buzzed. Martinez, Derek Sullivan arrested at his apartment. He's talking. Full confession. She planned everything. I looked at the message for a long time. Then I walked out of the Fairmont Hotel into the San Francisco night. The cameras they'd installed to protect themselves had caught the real monsters inside. And now Claire would spend the next 2 decades thinking about those 23 mornings when she'd smiled and handed me poison.